Hatsy, and today I am back with another speed build, and this time we are going to be building Elsa's frozen castle from the Disney movie Frozen. Now, I was really worried about doing this build because I was worried in case I wouldn't be able to do it, and it's a very difficult build to do. Now, I actually picked the hardest build out of the Disney princess castles or palaces that I thought would be the hardest, and it actually was. It was the trickiest build that I've ever built, and it took a lot of time. I think it took me about 3.5 hours to build the exterior, and that is quite long for a build. It's a little bit longer than the Beauty and the Beast castle build, I think. And in terms of just finding the right objects and stuff, that was pretty difficult. But I'm hoping that if you're looking to do an ice inspired build yourself in The Sims, then this might really help you, because I found some tools that I haven't discovered before that were really good for this build. So yeah, I hope this can be pretty helpful. But what I was doing at this point is I was trying to get a really unusual shape. I always imagine ice to be very sharp. I think it is most of the time, I think it is. But I'm pretty scared of ice. I don't like ice skating, and that is because I actually broke my arm ice skating. I was really bad at it. I actually went on a school trip and my teacher said, "Come on, Hattie, you have confidence, go for it. You know, you've got to get off the bars," and because they've got these bars around the side. And I was like, do you know what? I'm going to take a word for it. All my friends were egging me on like, "Come on, Hattie, you can do it, you can do it." And all of a sudden, I left the bars, and I think it was about maybe a couple of seconds into me having the confidence, me seeing the light, and I was like, I can do this, I can do this. And no, I really couldn't do it. So yeah, that was it. But lucky for me, I didn't feel a thing, and I was absolutely fine. Like, I'm absolutely fine now. That was ages ago. I must have been about 10, 11 when that happened. But yeah, I'm absolutely petrified of ice skating or anything similar to that. Also, roller skating. I like skiing though, which is really odd because skiing is very similar, but I've actually been in a situation where I've been on a ski slope and I almost fell off. It was so close. My dad actually advised me to go straight to the top and have confidence. I mean, what is this with people telling me to have confidence in stuff that I clearly can't have confidence in, rather shouldn't have confidence in? So yeah, he went straight to the top with me, and I was with my husband as well. And I didn't realise how steep it was, and I'm not a very confident skier. So I went straight forward, and oh, it was so close. But yeah, I didn't, luckily, and I was fine after that, luckily. And no, I never went up again. I haven't been skiing since. So that's my little backstory. But no, I absolutely love the Elsa's Frozen Castle. I just think it's a really unique build. I was actually looking at facts about the castle because I actually don't know that much about the castle, and I can honestly say that in my builds because I like to be really genuine in my videos, and I actually just like to say I actually don't know a lot about this, but I really enjoy building it. Really similar to Hogwarts. I know that a lot of people expected me to be an absolute Hogwarts expert and a Harry Potter fanatic, but unfortunately I just wasn't. And I love Harry Potter, but I'm just not the best at describing about Hogwarts or telling you bits about the book or knowing who the characters are. I don't know who the individual professors are and stuff. But yeah, same with Elsa, Frozen, but it's a lot easier to understand. There are only a few characters compared to the Harry Potter books and films. It's pretty hectic how many characters that goes into depth with. But yeah, so it was pretty easy to look at the facts, and I loved it. I really enjoyed it, actually. I found out that apparently since the film, sales in, well, tourism in Norway has gone up tremendously, and also the flight searches for Norway to actually travel to Norway has gone up 153%, which is insane. But yeah, so just facts like that I was looking for, and I didn't realise that there was just so much effort that went into Elsa individually. There was so many opinions that she should have been like a bad character, like a villain. So the images that I saw of Elsa, the original version that she was going to be, was a cross between Maleficent, if you've seen that. I don't know how many people have seen that film, but I love that film, by the way. And Marge Simpson out of The Simpsons, of course. So I can explain. So Maleficent outfit, so she had like this really black outfit on from what I could see by the little picture of her that was drawn up by an artist. And the hair was vertically blue. So that's the best way I could describe the original Elsa. But I'm so glad that she ended up looking the way that she does, because I love her look. It's just so individual and I just think she's fantastic. So yeah, I love the storyline in Frozen. I love the idea that it's repeated throughout, that you don't fall in love with someone, or you shouldn't fall in love with someone that you've just met, because a lot of the Disney films are all about somebody that you've just fallen in love with, that you've just met. Like Snow White, I think she's only met him for 10 seconds and she's in love and she's getting married. So I love the message, which is a little bit more in depth than that in Frozen. And I loved the idea of the little duet that Anna had with Hans. Is it Hans? I don't know. Hans, I think. The bad guy. And I also found out that was the first duet song that was written in Disney with a villain and a good character. So there's never been a collab before. I think that's the best word to use. Collab, yeah. So there hasn't been one with a villain and a good character before, I don't think. Or at least these official facts, in inverted commas, that I found online. So I really don't know how accurate they are, but it was really interesting anyway. And if you watched my last Disney Princess build, then you would have known that I love my conspiracy theories as well. And there was a massive one about the Frozen characters, which I am just in love with. And I noticed a comment the other day, which was about if Anna is Elsa's real sister. And I just think that's stuff so interesting. And I love the idea that maybe Tarzan could be their brother. I love it. I really hope that that is it, but I have no idea. I don't know if it's just some really ultra intelligent people that are really over-analysing something, or if it's actually just been very cleverly designed. But yeah, lots and lots of different quirks. I think that maybe when we get the next film out, then we'll be able to analyse it a little bit more. I don't know. But no, I absolutely love them. I think that Frozen is one of my favourite Disney princess movies. I think that Beauty and the Beast is probably my favourite princess movie to watch. I would say that one of my favourite Disney princesses is Jasmine, but I would say that the overall storyline and the depth that Disney Frozen goes into, I love it. I absolutely love it. And I've only actually watched it twice, so not even that much. I've known people that have watched it a lot of times, too many times, that know all the lines. And I actually knew a girl that knew it so well that she started to watch it in different languages, and then she could watch it in French and German and all different languages, and she would more or less know exactly what was going on. So she self-taught herself, I think, a little bit to speak other languages, which I think is incredible. And that's a really good way of learning, I think, watching different movies, and that's something that I would personally love to do. In fact, something that really helps me and the way that I am able to learn things very easily is script writing. So that might sound a little bit odd, but I can learn things very easily if I write it down. And not even write it down though. It's not so much the writing, it's the reading of it. It's the picturing the words in my head. So yeah, it's really odd. But when I was at school and things, I was usually the main character in the plays. So I was actually Peter Pan in Peter Pan. It wasn't really a big deal because I think there was only about 20 girls in the class. So we're not talking about like, I don't know, theatre stuff here. But no, it was really good and I loved it. I tended to be the main parts in the plays, and that was just because I could rehearse the lines. I could read the script probably once or twice and I would know what the script was about and I would know exactly what to say and where to say it. So yeah, that really helped me out, and I think that that's how I learn languages the best. Also making them into songs and translating them, because I get songs stuck in my head all the time. So when I get songs stuck in my head from different countries or that are spoken in different languages, it's so helpful. So I try and listen to a lot of French and German music, which my husband is really confused by, because there's one particular French song which he dislikes so much. So yeah, pretty funny because I get that in my head all the time. But anyway, what I was doing at this point is I was going into the basement again, because if you know me, if you've seen my other builds, that is what I tend to do at the moment. I don't know if other people are starting to do this now. I don't even know. I actually figured this out on my own, so I don't know if others are doing it, but I think it's a really good idea, and I would definitely recommend to do this if you are doing your own speed builds or if you're doing your own builds. If you're doing big castles, because you can do so much with it. And if you actually create a castle from scratch, if you actually wanted to create a Windenburg castle, that would be amazing. And if you do, tag me on Twitter, because I love to see different creations of castles and all sorts. I absolutely love to see what people come up with, and I love being part of the community. That's something that I try and do on the Sims 4 gallery. So maybe a few of you will notice, but I always try and take part in stuff on the Sims 4 gallery. And I always try to reply to people that write on the wall as well, just because I started off with the Sims 4 gallery. That's where I started. But no, I love playing around with the basement spaces. I think that it's a really good feature that EA put in, and I hope that in the future we'll get terrain tools. Of course, if we do, then I will go back and I will do these Disney princess castles again, and I will add more features to them because I really want to do that. There'll also be walkthrough tours of each individual Disney castle, and then I'm going to do one at the end with all of them. So that will be coming up. And yeah, I think I've already just spoiled it because that is obviously, well, very, very clear after saying that I'm going to be doing more Disney Princess castles. So without even mentioning it, yeah, that is the idea anyway. So if you want me to be doing more castles like this, then of course let me know which castle you would like me to do next, or palace, and also who's your favourite Disney princess, because I would love to be able to do some creator sims of Disney princesses, also villains as well, and the princes. I am just really into doing creator sims as well. So yeah, I like to be able to expand my channel a little bit and be able to do different things. So if you're interested in creator sims, hopefully you'll enjoy that, because there will be an Elsa creator sim coming up, and I really hope that you'll like it because she's going to go with this castle and she's going to be the one that I use, and she was also on the little before part in the video, which I sometimes do. But anyway, I was putting in the roofing. Now the roofing actually consisted of a lot of different pieces, and I think that the best advice I would give to anyone that's thinking about doing roofing or that's trying to improve their roofing is try and use as many diagonal pieces as you possibly can, because diagonal pieces are so helpful in The Sims, and I often find that a lot of my creations can look very basic without using diagonal pieces. So if you actually just create a house which is head on without diagonal walls and things, it could look pretty basic, but when you start to go into depth with the diagonal roofing and the different features you can add, it really gives something to the build. So the buildings that I've done in the past, which have been my favourite builds. So I did a build which was Giardino Fresco, and that was an Italian styled restaurant, and that was pretty popular with some of you which really liked the Italian styled restaurant. I did an Annecy inspired build. I've done other builds which have included diagonal pieces. So yeah, that is an example of, I think, how far diagonal pieces can go, and I think that it's a really good idea. So yeah, if you're looking at improving roofing, I'd say just practice with diagonal roofing as well. Don't forget it, because that's what I probably made the mistake of when I first started. I didn't do as much diagonal roofing as I should have done. But anyway, the windows were superbly modern, and I do apologise for that. I was actually hoping for a long version of the Spa Day windows that we got, because they're like a bluey glassy colour and I loved them. They also didn't have so much of a rim around the edges of them, and I thought they would be perfect, but unfortunately I couldn't find them, and also we don't have them, so that was that. I could have used custom content, but I don't like to use custom content with my builds. Sometimes I do with my Sims, but it's actually the Disney princesses that aren't going to have any custom content with them, so that should be pretty interesting. It was actually really nice to be able to do a freezing cold build, or a build that would look like it was freezing cold, and that is because it's been boiling where I am in Germany at the moment, and I'm not very good in hot weather. I really struggle, and that is just because I'm not used to it. I've just grown up in cold countries before, and I think that for me it's just a massive change, because England wasn't particularly hot when I was growing up, and I don't know, it was always raining, so never experienced the sun. But my mum was always really protective when we went on holiday, and it was funny, and I don't know if anyone else has had this with their mum before, or if you know somebody that's similar to this, but my mum, and this is absolutely no over-exaggeration whatsoever, she used to sit on the beach under a tent with a massive sun hat on, sunglasses, and Factor 90 plus sun cream, with a towel over her. So no, she really did stay protected, and that was great, of course. And my mum has got the most beautiful skin. But it was the most embarrassing thing when I was on the beach, and I used to have this pasty sun cream on, because Factor 90 plus, I don't know if anyone has seen it, but it's really rare, and you have to pretty much order it from somewhere. I don't even know where you order it from. It's completely unknown. In fact, I had no idea that 90 plus even existed until I think my mum managed to get hold of it. And then we got word of a 99, and I was like, no, absolutely no, I don't believe it until I see it. And I don't think I ever ended up seeing a 99. I don't think. But yeah, so anyway, it was pretty much a bottle of paint. And when we used to put it on our skin, it was so thick. It was like wearing paint, and it was really uncomfortable. And yeah, that was pretty much my beach life. So I just used to roll around in the beach sand and get it all stuck to me. So that was my life. And no, it was lovely though, lovely. And we used to spend a lot of time in Ibiza because that was where my parents really liked to go on holiday. But we usually actually go to cold climates now, or cold places rather. So we tend to go skiing a lot. I tend to go skiing with my parents on holidays. My mum doesn't ski anymore though, and that is just because she's had a few problems on the slopes, and we have both actually. We've all had problems on the slopes, but the problem is my family doesn't do very well when we're under pressure. So there has been a time when my mum was heading up the ski slope and we had an instructor with us, and the instructor strictly said to my mum, "You do not get off until you're at the top of the slope." And she was holding onto this rope, and she got so close. She got probably, I don't know, it was in distance. It was so close. All she had to do was maybe go another meter and let go. And she shouted to me and she said, "Do I let go?" And I said, "No, you do not let go." And she let go and she went backwards on the ski slope, and it was just so embarrassing for her, and I just felt so bad for her. But no, it was hysterical. But no, she doesn't do too well under pressure, and I am pretty much the same in terms of that. So I'm no better. But no, we just sit and have our coffees at the moment. That's what we tend to do. So on ski holidays, when we go, we just sit and have coffee and chat. I also have my dogs with me, which is absolutely lovely. So this was the point when I was putting on the diamonds on the build. I wanted to incorporate these really tall diamonds onto it because I wanted it to look like glass shards or icicle shards. I think that's what it is. But yeah, I wanted it to just look really unsafe, and this is what I would imagine it to be like if Elsa's frozen castle was to actually be a thing. Now, I have actually heard of an ice hotel, and I'd be really interested to see if anyone has actually been to one of these places. It sounds really interesting to me because I think that going to very, very cold climates, I'd love to live in an igloo for maybe a day or half a day. I don't know even if I'd be okay with that. This was when I was trying to make the build look a lot taller. Now, we do have some problems with the Sims 4 roofing, and that is just because it just doesn't allow you to take it to the next level. It's really sad. It is, and I wish that we would be able to adjust the roofing a little bit more and have it pointier. But I actually started to get rid of the original roofing. So the original roofing that you see was really just there for a guide, and a lot of it does disappear by the end and just ends up with these random glass bottles enlarged and the glass shards and all sorts. So I did use a lot of it. And I also think by the transparency of the potions that were around it as well, it gave such a nice look to it. So I was really happy with how it was looking at this point, and it was starting to remind me of the castle itself and how I like to imagine this castle if I was going to think of why it would be in the bluffs. Is because if Elsa has gone to a very specific area and she hasn't frozen everything, but she's just frozen this plot, then it would make sense. I was having a lot of fun, and making the edge of the cliff was really, really difficult because I didn't want that to be a wall. If you do want it to be a wall, then you of course can change it and you can make it into a wall, but I just really, really didn't want to. And that is partly because I just thought it would ruin it a little bit. And I didn't really know what to do with a very thin wall anyway, so I thought using these rocks would be really cool. Now, I wouldn't recommend having these rocks here if you don't have the outdoor retreat pack. Now, what The Sims actually does sometimes is it replaces some objects if you don't have certain packs. So if you don't have the outdoor retreat pack, this may appear to all be chairs around here. I've seen it done before, and it just doesn't surprise me if it happens again, or at least it won't surprise me if it happens again. So I really hope that doesn't happen, but just a little disclaimer there, if you don't have the outdoor retreat pack, you may have to change some of those rocks around. But of course, you could replace them with the other rocks, or you could actually build a wall there. You could really do a lot with it, or you could just have it just being the castle itself if you do find the rocks a little bit too disturbing. But I'd be interested to see if any of the Disney Worlds have done or will do anything with the Elsa's Frozen Castle, because when I visited Disney in Florida, I didn't find anything that was similar to Elsa's Frozen Castle. and I saw a lot of stuff. I really did. I went around all the parks and I saw pretty much everything. So I don't think I missed anything, or maybe I did, but I don't know. So it would be interesting to see if in the future, maybe they build a park like this. I don't know. I've always imagined that it would be a really amazing idea if they were to do just a Disney Princess Park. So it'd have all the castles and you could walk through them all. You could have walk-through tours of them. You could meet the princesses and you could do all the fun stuff. I would love that, and that was something that I personally enjoyed when I was younger going to Disney. The castles and the princesses and the meeting of the celebrities, or release the celebrities to children, that was what I absolutely loved. And that was something that I really enjoyed. So it's a real honour to meet with the princesses, the official princesses and all that. So yeah, I think that having a separate park for all this stuff would be really, really cool. And I'd definitely go and visit it. I think that one of my favourite features at Disney, and I don't even know which park this is in, so I really don't know much about it because I tend to go once every 5 years if I'm lucky, and that is if my parents are feeling very, very generous, or if my dad has the ability to be able to bring us on holiday with him, then yeah, we go together and it's really good. But I used to love Minnie Mouse's house. That was the thing which I loved, and I actually spent a lot of time in there. I think I probably spent a couple of hours when I went there, just playing around with the oven and just seeing the different features in the home, because that really amazed me. And when I was younger, that was the best thing for me. So exploring different houses and actually seeing where the Disney characters lived, that was the best thing. And I've always wished that Universal did something with a walkthrough tour at Hogwarts, because I would love to see the castle in depth and actually go through the rooms. Now, I did go for a backstage tour of the ride, and something that a lot of people don't see, and I don't know why, because I think you can only see it from a distance, but close up it looks spectacular. They've actually got a wall behind the roller coaster of the moving pictures, and it's a whole wall dedicated to pretty much all of them. And yeah, it's like a massive wall and they all move about. And it's a shame because it's in a really awkward place and you probably wouldn't be able to see it, or maybe not even notice it, unless you were on the ride, or unless you were really looking out for it. So that is what I personally saw. But yeah, I would love to see what was actually inside these homes, and I would love to be able to see an Elsa's Frozen Castle. Of course, if you have any ideas in the future of stuff that you'd love to see and stuff that would really make you excited, if there was a new park release, I'd love to hear it in the comments, because I love your ideas. I think it's fantastic talking about this stuff, and yeah, it always amazes me to see what amazing ideas you can all come up with. But anyway, I was going really far out with the colours. I actually used a lot of colours from, I think, the Spa Day stuff pack. So the fluorescent colours, you'll see them, like the bright blues, the bright whites, and that was just because it gave the best look. Something that does happen in The Sims, which I can't control unfortunately, is the lighting usually. I would have loved the staircase to have been lighter, and I would have loved it to have matched this like snowy ice colour, but I really couldn't do it. And of course I would have also loved to edit the bottles and make sure that I could have taken the bottle caps off. So I'm really sorry if that's a problem, but I honestly couldn't think about anything else to put there. But if you do have any ideas of what I could have replaced it with, or if any ideas for the future with things that I could use maybe for separate Disney princess castles, then let me know, because it's always really good to hear your suggestions. I also definitely wanted a balcony, so if you're worried that I was going to forget a balcony, I did not want to, because I love screenshots, and for Elsa to be off this balcony looking at people below, maybe Anna. I could actually create an Anna character if you wanted me to, but that would be really interesting. And yeah, she would be off this balcony here, and I wanted to create something there. Now, something that I'm not keen on with The Sims is the fact that we haven't had a lot of glass items which aren't modern. So if you notice lots of modern items used in this, like the windows or the fence or the doors, but I was just making do with what we had. So I really did have to improvise, and I used some pretty blue curtains because I think that ice, in general, the idea of it is that it's a little bit blue, or at least the reflection of it. I don't know. I don't even know if there would be an ice moat around the castle, but I loved that idea of having it. I just thought it looked spectacular, and I just think that it's really interesting to have that. I thought it was a lot better than water as well, so I do actually have some water in the build. You'll notice some pools and stuff. They're actually swimmable as well, so I actually noticed that when I put the Elsa character in the build and she was testing it out, She ended up swimming in the water and it was wonderful to see, so I absolutely love that. Now, something that I try to never ever forget with my builds is lighting. That is really important throughout. So I definitely wanted to include the lights here, and I actually showed you how I did most of it. There will be some parts of the build that I did unfortunately leave out, and that is mainly readjusting the rocks, so making them neater. That is just because it took me a really large amount of time to do, and I just didn't think it was necessary. And I also went round all the pool areas, so all the bits where you see dark, they all had the fluorescent wallpaper and flooring. So by the end, it's going to look really good on the screenshots, or at least I think it does. So hopefully you will get to see that in a second. But anyway, that is the end of the build. So I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see your future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.